This is Campus Radio, the radio station by students, for students, with students, and so on. We've got a fantastic show coming up for you today. Some of you might not like it, but that's really on you. Quality grassroots radio coming right up.
Whether you're just getting up or just getting in, it's sure to be difficult. I'm Felicity Bellbottoms, and you're listening to Campus Radio, where we try and make whatever you're doing a little bit easier and a little bit noisier. I'm Maggie Wattmoore, learning on the job on Campus Radio. Can I ask, should we be paying someone for using this next song? Sorry, I just really don't know. Anyway, I'm sure it'll be fine. Here we go. And now, Wanda, with an update on the latest campus fashion trends. Anyone who's someone is wearing their shoelaces untied. This trend is here to stay. Oh, there really is something about seeing all those laces dancing in the wind. Yes, we may have seen a fairly drastic uptake in people falling down, but this is the price you pay for fashion. And now, the story of a teaching hospital and some missing bones.
Here at the teaching hospital in Mitten, students look forward to a long and healthy life in medicine. But while they were sleeping, with visions of crutches and pharmaceutical machinery in their heads, their teaching skeletons went missing. They've tried making their own skeletons out of wire, toothpicks and toilet paper, but sadly, they're 39 bones short and don't know what they're missing. For now, their education and the future of healthcare in our county is looking boneless and a little limp. Fliss, back to you.
2 Point County Professor Hercules Cheesewater recently came under fire after publishing work they found on the bus. The professor has now responded to the allegations, saying, "Inspiration can come from the strangest of places." So true, Professor. In fact, I find all my coursework on public transport, proofread and ready to hand in. You're listening to Campus Radio. I'm Maggie Wattmoore, and I just learned what this button does. I'm not sure when I would use it, but I suppose it's good to know. One more time. Excellent. There's growing concern about the flowers on campus this autumn. Where have they gone? Why aren't they here anymore? Didn't there used to be flowers over there? These are just some of the many questions posed by concerned, botanically inclined students. Pinned for comment, the lead groundskeeper referenced the seasons. That's all from us today at Campus Radio. As expected, there wasn't really a good opportunity to use that button during the show, so before we leave, I thought we'd have one more go. There you have it. This is Felicity Bellbottoms, and you're listening to Campus Radio, where we do all the work for none of the pay. We've got a great show for you, but first, here's some music. And now, here's Wanda with the latest music trends. Tapes are in. Yes, those little rectangular guys are all anyone is listening to. They're fabulous. Streaming can go on forever, but tapes end. Don't you see? They end. 1 minute there's music and then bang, gone. Just like us. Oh, and they've gone out of style. all over to Hugh, and something about a hose.
Yes, that's right. Students were protesting a sudden spike in milkshake prices. I'm told that proceedings were fairly peaceful until a rogue beach ball struck an attendant on the arm. Things got a little tasty, and a garden hose was even used on one student who described himself as fine, just a bit wet. I'll be here bringing you the updates as the story develops. Back to you. Who even goes to the student union? When I want a milkshake, I don't want a pint of Milkmaid. It's so artificial. I just can't take it anymore. I'd much rather go a little off the beaten path and try something local. And preferably very lumpy. Anything from the stomach churner dairy and smuggly is sure to be nice and separated. Now that's a milkshake.
Have you ever been stressed about your future career? I know I have. Here's some wonderfully soothing advice from Campus Radio's coolest customer. I want to talk to you about your future. I hear far too many people getting wound up in all the worst ways over careers fairs. Sure, go. Take the free pen and the boring magazine, but don't stress yourself out. It's important to remember that all the jobs those people do won't even exist in a few years. The future is an unimaginable variable that can and will differ from everything we know in ways we can't possibly comprehend. So, why stress about it, you know? Thanks for joining us on Campus Radio. If anyone from 2 Point Radio was listening in, or has received my emails, I graduate next year and will be available for paid or unpaid roles at your station. Thanks. Welcome in to Campus Radio. Today's show is brought to you by the Orb Foundation. Sign up at your campus today. The Orb is the perfect shape and the perfect solution. Please read anything they make you sign, okay? Okay.
You know, I think the Orb Foundation gets far too much criticism. Sure, there's some dodgy information about how they're funded, and they do talk a lot about the Orb being the perfect shape. I can't be the only one sick of those adverts. But really, what are they, if not a group of people coming together to appreciate some beauty in this world? Personally, I think we could all learn a little something from them.
Thanks again to the Orb Foundation for sponsoring today's show and sending us those strange biscuits. I'm not sure if we'll be doing this again, but like the biscuits, it was fun while it lasted. Sort of.
I'm DJ Shorts, the host giving you the most on Campus Radio. It's been too long, and I've been dying to play this next song. See if you notice what they do on the 9th bar in the 2nd verse. Oh, it's really something. We'll be back after this. Now, it's time for a student story about a bakery that's jam-packed no more. Hugh, what have you got for us? I'm here at Old Widget Bakery in Hogsport, where for generations local students have been enjoying traditional jam donuts. But sadly, the sweetness ends here. The machine that fills the donuts with delicious fruity mixtures, such as red and green, has been suffering from jam rot, and finally went out of commission today. To honour the machine, the bakery is serving donuts filled with nothing. They may seem hollow, but their taste is one of poignancy. A fitting farewell to a fine confectionery friend. Starting next week, the bakery will be back up and running with a new machine, looking to make new memories and serve lots of donuts. You've been waiting for this, and now you have. I'm finally going to talk about the Boogie Nights. I'm sure I didn't need to tell you that I was actually in on the group of Funky Nights very, very early. And I thought they were a real bright spot in the county's music scene. But I must say, I'm just not enjoying them as much these days. I mean, really, I know I like them, but they just shouldn't be this popular. Another perfectly excellent obscure band ruined by too many fans. It's just selfish. It really is. We've got a music review for you now. Over to Maggie, who's been to see the Boogie Nights.
That's right. I went to the Boogie Nights concert and it was great. The lights, the dancing and so on. If you like music, this really was music. I do think the campus could do with some better signage though. I mean, I almost missed the concert and this segment could have been a real train wreck if that had happened. Felicity Bellbottoms speaking for you, the students, in every sense, on campus radio. Up next, we'll be talking about power napping, comforting dream, or confusing nightmare. Find out after this. Lots of students struggle to get enough sleep. That's why Campus Radio's very own Maggie Wattmoore has been trying out the latest techniques to fit some much-needed rest into a busy schedule. That's right, I've been trying out power napping, the day's craze sweeping through campus like that fungus in the showers. For those of you that don't know, power napping, or turbo kipping, is a practice that allows you to sleep on the spot, grabbing some valuable rest time between classes. I think I almost did it for a moment, but then I realised I was 45 minutes late for a lecture. But no, I actually feel really well rested. Thanks for joining us on Campus Radio. This is Maggie Wattmoore signing off. Oh no, apparently we actually have a little more time. So, I hope you all have a wonderful, excellent, lovely rest of your days. And yep, there we go. Goodbye. Hi, I'm Maggie Wattmoore, remembering to breathe on Campus Radio. Are you ever reading or poaching an egg or something and you realise that you've not taken a breath in a while? Oh, I did it again. Let's all try and focus on our breathing during this next song. Now, the story of an arts college with no paint in sight. Hugh.
Yes, the students at Fitzpocket Academy were supposed to be taking a class in oil painting this year. But their funding allocation has shifted, and so too has the earth beneath the feet of their expectations. I was lucky enough to speak to one student.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame, but it's all right. I'll just take the class next year.
A brave face on an even braver student. This is just another story of student funding crushing the hopes and indeed dreams of some fine art students. All they wanted was some paint. But for now, the funding has dried up, and with it, the oil paint well.
This next story is about a shed, apparently. That's all I've got. Here to tell us more is Hugh.
That's right, the groundskeeper's shed appears to have moved some 2 to 3 metres overnight. Of course, as an inanimate object, the sudden move has come as somewhat of a shock. One member of the custodial staff described the event as probably the strangest thing to happen in the greater Flemington area. Leading theories range from haunted wood to tectonic shifting, but one fraternity is claiming responsibility for the anomaly. Their spokesperson saying, "We just moved it. It wasn't that heavy. We can move it back if you like." Maggie, back to you.
We've come to the end of today's show, and didn't that fly by? I wasn't timing it or anything, but if I was, I think I'd see that we finished 35 seconds early. I've been Maggie Wattmoore. I'll be back tomorrow for my next allotted segment. Bye for now. Hi, I'm Felicity Bellbottoms, and you may be listening to Campus Radio. Unfortunately, our broadcasting signal has taken a hit due to some of our equipment being prematurely recycled. One of our reporters is in a skip, looking for the parts as we speak. So, consider that colourful visual, and we'll be right back. We're back, and so is our broadcasting signal. Thanks to Hugh for getting in the skip. By his own account, he was happy to do it, adding that the view from inside the skip offered him an entirely new perspective on campus. Now, if that's not an idea for a segment, I don't know what is. Let's hear from Hugh, who's fresh out the skip with a story about an unusually cloudy weekend for one of the county's hottest locations.
Students at the Breaking Point campus were expecting a weekend full of sun, laughter and knockabout fun. But a dark cloud has washed away their optimism, leaving them with sadness and no real use for all that sun cream. They were forecast a weekend of sun and balmy temperatures, but what they got was a drizzly and altogether grey affair. Spare a thought for them, sitting inside. Their sandals, sandless. Their skin, cool and unburnt. Fliss, back to you.
We're now hearing that the board students in Breaking Point have been seen riding around campus in maintenance carts used by janitorial staff and the local Coast Guard. It's a sobering reminder to all of us that you can't take a golf cart without asking just because it's a bit cloudy. It's time for a review of the most popular cartoon on campus. Yes, that's right, the Bureaucrats. This week, I'm reviewing The Bureaucrats. Yesterday, Mittens, the cat, found an outrageously obscure bylaw just in time to delay a civil case another 10 weeks. Now, I don't understand the justice system at all, but I do understand drama, and those cats have it. 5 cat paws out of a possible 5.
What is wrong with people? I saw this guy wearing a Bureaucrats t-shirt the other day. Man, great show, great show. So I go up to him and I say, Meowser! And he just stands there, staring at us. Like I'm the mad one. Listen, fella, if you didn't recognise a quote, let alone a classic from Season 2, Episode 12, The Admiral Fuzzy Knickers All-Nighter, then you didn't get to wear the t-shirt. Here's a song for people who do know their quotes.
Listening to Campus Radio. I'm Felicity Bellbottoms, narrating your coming-of-age story in all its awkward post-adolescent glory. Here's a song that perfectly captures the mood. It's time for an Initiation Week tip from our resident student expert, Maggie Wattmoore. Yes, it's that time again, Initiation Week. We'll be trying to see through the hazing as every club, society and group with matching hats gets together to welcome their newest members by, well, sort of harassing them a bit. We're back with our Initiation Week special and how to handle it with style. Initiation Week provides all of us with a lot of choices. But I wanted to take the time to remind you that you don't have to choose any of them. There's something so overdone about clubs on campus, don't you think? Haven't we all had enough backgammon and volleyball? Fun doesn't have to be organised. I join every club because I don't want to miss out on any potentially precious campus experience. Unfortunately, quite a lot of the events do clash, but if you make a schedule and run really fast between them, you can do it all. You might be known as the person that comes late and leaves running before the end, but it's important to leave an impression. This has been our Initiation Week special on Campus Radio. I hope our collective wisdom has helped you in some small way navigate the extracurricular minefield. And if it hasn't, well, there's always next year. The renovation of a library might sound like a good thing, but here's Hugh to tell us why it's actually quite sad.
Here in Smogly, students have been looking forward to the renovation of the old campus library. The carpet is plush and the study areas are dressed with kettles and beanbags. The library is alive and bustling, but the old bookcases are left on the outside, looking in. Yes, 3 old bookcases stand on the lawn outside the library, a monument to a past that's now over. Spare a thought for them as you enjoy a sleek, frictionless library experience. Welcome back, fellow students. It's me, DJ Shorts, keeping me finger on the pulse of 2 Point County so you didn't have to. Today's topic, would Jasmine Odyssey be cooler if she was less popular? I didn't want to spoil it for you, but the answer is yes. Here's a pretty niche favourite of mine from an actor I cannot even pronounce the name of. It's pretty challenging stuff. Check it out. And now, here's another student story about a little supermarket that could becoming a little supermarket that's closed. Hugh, over to you. Over the years, Crumley Supermarket has fed countless students all over 2 Point County. None more than Crumley's flagship store, right here in Duckworth. Sadly, no amount of coupons or discount fish is going to save the store this time. No, after failing their 3rd inspection of the week, this much-visited market will be closing its doors. As I sit here, riding the mechanical pig one last time, I can't help but think of all of the good times. The end of an era, that's for sure. It feels like every day we're talking about Jasmine Odyssey. Some of you must think I actually really like her approachable brand of toe-tapping pop music. Good one, guys. Though, I must say, she actually has a really interesting record from the early days of her career that went by the name of Dung Beetle Jamboree. Sure, you've probably never heard of it, but it's worth your time if you're willing to find the rare and badly produced demos online. It's raw, it's unconventional, and I think criminally underrated. It's time for a book review. Here's Maggie on a recently released biography of Jasmine Odyssey. This should be good.
This week, I've been reading Jasmine My Odyssey by Jasmine Odyssey. It's just amazing. For those of us that feel like we've known who she is for, well, ages, really. Just to hear all about what that's like from her and those talented ghostwriters. It's time for a book review. Over to Maggie, who's been reading the memoirs of 2 Point Radio's longest tenured DJ. This week, I've been reading A Life on the Waves by Ricky Hawthorne. Oh, so good. really, really good. Because I didn't know before, actually, that he spent so much time at sea. Or, well, near any water, really, and that's just super interesting.
I want to talk about an actor by the name of Roderick Cushion. Now, if you listen to popular thinking, you'd think, now there's a guy who's given up on his craft. There's an actor that would literally do anything for the next paycheck. And sure, I can see how you could think that. But you'd be completely missing the point. When Roderick Cushion decides to do yet another truly terrible film, he's making a statement about the nature of commercial cinema. Thank you, Mr. Cushion, for fighting the good fight. Before we end today's show, some of you have got in touch to ask how you can have really cool, original opinions like mine. So I'm going to tell you about a little technique that I like to call playing devil's advocate. What you do is, you take a popular, universally agreed upon opinion and flip it on its head. Boom! You've got yourself a really cool original opinion. Take toilets. You might think they're great, necessary even, whereas I think they're a little passé.
Hi, hello, yes, I'm Maggie Wattmoore, doing my best on campus radio. We've got a big show for you today, but I'm trying not to think about it. No, only joking, of course. This is really fun. Let's have some music, shall we? Lectures can, if done incorrectly, be quite boring. But here's our preview of a lecture that has students everywhere wide awake. Avant-garde academic and student darling Omar Figgins began his latest series of touring lectures this week. The early reviews are in for the talk entitled What We Talk About When We Talk About What We Talk About. One student had this to say: "It was great. I barely understood any of it, so you can imagine." Wow! Reserve your tickets for his visit to your campus today. You won't want to miss it. Student protests continued to rage in the music college at Mitten today. Asked for their thoughts, feelings, or demands, one student had this to say: "I don't know really. Someone told me we're waiting to see an enormous bassoon. Is that not right?" More on that curious bassoon later in the show. Remarkably, we actually have a follow-up on the story of the enormous bassoon. It seems as though the crowd have got their hands on an inflatable and, indeed, enormous bassoon. I'm a little lost for words, if I'm perfectly honest with you listeners. Was this planned all along, or was it sourced after our segment aired? Just so many questions. They'll have to wait, I suppose. Until next time, I've been Felicity Bellbottoms, speechless on campus radio. Here's Wanda, who'll be telling us the coolest way to get around the county. Yes, the bus is the new hot way to travel. Have you been on the bus? Oh, it's amazing. They're like huge cars. I am obsessed. And you don't have to drive. You can look at the scenery, check your phone, all the fun stuff you usually do while driving. But this way, it's much more safe. And that's the show. Join us tomorrow when we'll be discussing which vegetables last the longest. That should be great. I've bought 16 avocados this year and still haven't gotten to eat any of them. I mean, really, they must be ripe for about 5 minutes. Sorry, we'll leave that for tomorrow, shall we? Join us then. Good morning, I'm Felicity Bellbottoms and you're listening to Campus Radio. Later in the show, we'll be discussing another hot student topic. Old meat. How grey is too grey? That and much, much more coming right up. Finally, the matter of grey meat. Yes, we contacted Health Inspector Henry Jobsworth, who sent us a very comprehensive 7,000-word report on the subject. Asked for a snappier response, more suitable for radio, he had this to say: if it's just turned grey, it might be okay. If it's been grey for a while, it's sure to be hostile. Well, if it rhymes, it's probably true. This is Campus Radio and I'm your host, Felicity Bellbottoms. Speculation continues to build over that smell in the lecture theatre. But what should you believe? Did someone really stuff a block of cheddar under one of the seats? Or is it haunted? The answer may surprise you. And there we have it. It's being reported that smell in the lecture theatre was, indeed, a large piece of cheese. We're hearing that a member of the janitorial staff was seen retrieving the putrid wedge in a hazmat suit, though this particular source has been known to exaggerate. We can only hope the smell dissipates and our community can breathe deeply and cheeselessly once again. I can't read what this next segment is about because I've lost my glasses, but I am told that that's quite ironic. So yeah, here's Hugh.
Yes, it's not quite business as usual here at Duckworth Campus Food Court, where one of the servers has lost a contact lens. Unfortunately, they do believe the lens was lost during the preparation of a particularly big lasagna. They're asking every student to check their portion before they chew. But as of yet, no sight of the missing lens.
This segment was previously scheduled for me, so I suppose I'll pass things over to myself. What do you have for us, Wanda? That was fun. Today, I was going to talk about the campus food court and their new all-you-can-eat seafood, but that seems a little inappropriate given the circumstances. Anyway, I suppose it's the thought that counts, right? Thanks, Wanda. Yes, everyone left at Campus Radio, that's you and me, is talking about the recent food poisoning incident. It's assumed that the campus food court is to blame, though they've declined to comment so far. To be fair, I haven't actually sent the email yet. Still, I'm left asking, when will everyone be better? Surely we can't keep this up for long. Wanda, back to you. Hi, I bet you weren't expecting me. Well, we're a little short-handed on Campus Radio today after that very unfortunate food poisoning incident. So, I'll be acting as your host. It's nice to know there's a silver lining to all that vomit. Anyway, let's enjoy this while we can. It might not happen again. Our good friend Felicity Bellbottoms has sent me a message to tell me now is when we'd usually end the show. Even when she's sick, she's in charge. I hope you've enjoyed today's show. Join us next time for more Campus Radio. Oh, and Fliss, go back to bed. You're listening to Campus Radio, the sound of student life in 2 Point County. I'm Felicity Bellbottoms. Now, everyone has been talking about the campus supermarket and their brand new frozen treats, but we'll be wading through the fudge to look at the story of 2 students crushed under the weight of free toppings. Stick around. It's time for the story of two students who are finding news of the campus supermarket's new ice creams difficult to swallow.
That's right. Ben and Sarah used to go out to the green, their hearts full of gumption, their cool box full of lollies. But it's not been the same since Campus Supermarket opened its Sunday bar and shaved ice station. They were just a couple of students looking to make some honest money in the harsh summer heat. But business has cooled off lately. As for the lollies, well, they're melting now. Spare a thought for them the next time you're enjoying a fudge sundae buy one get one free all day Wednesday at the Campus Supermarket. Fliss, back to you.
And now over to Wanda, who'll be talking about posters. Apparently. Yes, today we're talking posters. Specifically, what your posters say about you. A Jasmine Odyssey poster tells me that you're a kind spirit with a nice smelling face. A poster of a car tells me that you just love mechanical things, like carburetors, exhaust pipes, and cup holders. And a cheesy Gubbins poster tells me that you're very, very hungry. Everyone on campus is talking about the county's education minister and the bad, or maybe good, thing that happened. Over to you, Hugh.
Yes, that's right. Emotions are high here in Croquembouche today as students have flooded into the city to protest the continued existence of Education Minister Tarquin Fawkesbridge. They dabbled in some chanting, but haven't been able to get into an easy and repeatable rhythm. We'll be here letting you know the wording they settle on as and when it happens.
Education Minister Tarquin Fawkesbridge has once again stoked the fire between his department and the county's student unions, saying, "Tuition fees will rise and they must rise. I spend more on loafer wax than most students do on their entire education. It's just not fair." Thanks, Minister, for that much-needed, albeit clueless perspective. In the news today, students have been spotted eating what some are calling nice-looking baguettes. Naturally, everyone is asking where they can get a nice-looking baguette. We don't have an answer for you, but join us for some wild speculation later in the show. We promised you speculation, and here it is. Our sources tell us that a van parked on campus and began to sell not only baguettes, but a variety of pastries as well. One bystander described the shock. "It just came out of nowhere. Next thing I knew, it was gone, and I was holding this really nice-looking baguette. What a day." There you have it. Lightning doesn't tend to strike twice, but here's hoping for more serendipitous pasty vans in our collective future. All right, we're back. Now we're going to hear from the only other member of the campus radio team without their head in a toilet. Over to you, Maggie. Hello, You're listening to Campus Radio. I'm Maggie Wattmoore, and I didn't realise I was hosting today's show until 5 minutes ago. It's okay, I'm sure we'll be fine. I haven't done a show without my notes before, but that doesn't bother me at all.
And now, a segment about a student taking an exam. Bertie had been up all night preparing for an important test. He'd done the revision, he'd set his alarms, but then, some hours later, disaster struck. It was as he finished his paper that he realised he hadn't been using a pen. He thought he was dotting I's and crossing T's, but sadly, he was just making gestures with his hand over a piece of paper. It's a nightmare for so many of us, but today it was Bertie's reality.
Do you want to learn better? Of course you do. Wanda, how do we do that? Everyone is looking for ways to study without all those hours in the library and pen stains on your fingertips. The latest way to trick your body into learning is to sleep with a book in front of or on top of your face. As you sleep, your eyes will occasionally open, letting in a little light and valuable knowledge. Try it for a week and see the results for yourself. Should you study with a friend, or should you ignore them at all costs? We've all asked that question. Here's Wanda with the answer. Last week, I advised you to try studying in pairs, and it seemed like a good idea. Turn time with a book into time with a friend. A no-brainer, right? Wrong, I'm afraid. My roommate made up a mnemonic device for something on my course, but it was so effective that I can't remember what it stands for. All I have left is decorate my salamanders nightly. And what's that? Sorry, Jessie. Back to studying alone. Shame. Words are long, and writing them down can waste precious study time. But what's the alternative? Over to you, Maggie. Yes, I've devised my own method of shorthand that saves me so much time. It really enables me to pay attention during lectures and make notes at the same time. I mean, sometimes it is really quite hard to tell what I've written, and that can waste some time and be a bit, distressing. So, if anyone does know how to take real shorthand, could you let me know? Please. As a student, it can be hard to find time for, well, everything. Here's Maggie with a tip for getting things done. Multitasking is great. I don't know what I'd do without it. Sometimes I'm there, writing an essay while listening to a recorded lecture and covering an event for campus radio, and it just dawns on me, if multitasking wasn't so great, this would all be a bit much. Thanks, multitasking. That's it from us at Campus Radio. Though my day isn't entirely over, I'm heading to the library to finish and start an essay, and I may be there all night. But I'll be back tomorrow morning for another show. Hopefully I don't fall asleep in the archive section again. Wish me luck.
You're listening to Campus Radio. I'm DJ Shorts, bringing you small batch homegrown radio with the pulp left in. Here's a musical palate cleanser that's sure to wash that pre-digested rubbish out of your ears. See if you can taste the difference.
If you're anything like me, you're wondering why everyone is talking about cheesy gubbins. Thankfully, Hugh has the story.
Yes, the popular snack cheesy gubbins have brought campus life to a standstill with their Golden Gubbin promotion. The company has said that there are 6 of the solid gold gubbins to be found in promotional packages. Only one such crisp has been found so far, though the lucky student is with the nurse after swallowing it. Something of a crowd has formed outside the health centre, where they eagerly await for a first look at the opulent puff. Man, I hear a lot of talk about snacks on campus. Although it's pretty derivative student chat, there's something I've got to say. Sure, cheesy gubbins are, well, fine. But if you're looking for a truly superior snack, you should try Grub Grubs, the snack that's made from real naturally expired insects. You might think I sound a bit crazy, I realise that, but I really appreciate the subtle taste. They do take a few months to arrive, but personally, I think it's worth it. Welcome in, it's DJ Shorts on Campus Radio, keeping it short and keeping it sweet. On today's show, I'll be telling you the 6 ways to get the most out of your winter coat. But first, let's cook up something tasty in the music microwave. If you cannot handle the heat, what are you doing in me kitchen? Let's go! Here at Campus Radio, some of the team were a little concerned to hear that our listenership has gone down over the past few months. But frankly, I'm not sure that I agree. I'd much rather our little radio community stay as small as possible. I don't want the crowd ruining it and taking us from a cool underground scene to something bland and mainstream. In fact, my dream would be pretty much no one listening at all. Just me, talking to myself, for myself, all day. Now that would be pretty excellent. I love meat, and I love wizards. But does that mean that I love the video game franchise Meat Wizard? Not necessarily. There's just something so complex about modern games, and it doesn't sit right with me. They just can't compare to the charm and focus of vintage games like CJ Spotter, the fire-breathing otter, where you only had two actions, jump and sneeze. For me, it's still the pinnacle of sneezing in games.
Ah, Noblestead, the town where every day is yesterday. Yes, some may say that theirs is a community stuck in the past, but one man's dark ages is another man's time-honoured tradition. And what are traditions, if not things we're still doing? Oh, it really makes you think.
That's all from us here at Campus Radio. Just a reminder that if you have any interest in getting involved at the station, please do reach out. There really is a lot of airtime to fill, and try as we might, we just can't fill it all. We're open to news reports, reviews and opinion pieces. Really just anything that will take up some dead air. Good night.